Gracefully and Frankly is made free to you thanks to the support of Sierra Sil. Very soon, Lisa and I are going to be on billboards in the GTA. Woohoo! Our picture's right there along with an ad for Sierra Sil. Why would we lend our likenesses to these all-natural joint pain supplements? Easy. Because they work. So well, in fact, that Sierra Sil comes with a money-back guarantee. So you can take our word or faces for it, or you can read more about it and try it for yourself.
Check out the website, read all about it, read the testimonials, sierrasil.com, Sierra like the mountains, SIL.com. And when you make a purchase, use the code GF for 10% off.
88, episode 88. I love my eights. I love 88 keys on a keyboard. I'm just loving this show infinity. I know, I'm nuts. I'm Aaron Davis.
I'm Lisa Brandt. Hey, how are you doing with joy these days? Are you feeling joyful?
Well, I use Dawn, and it gets all my dishes clean.
Ooh.
No, I am feeling joyful, and it's not just kind of a shift in the air, but it's the optimism that comes at this time of year. We're going to discuss that. And is fall like New Year's to you? Because kind of is to us.
We're looking at a vaccine that has a side effect that's positive. Again, with joy, we're looking on the bright side.
Yep.
This might change your mind if you're on the fence about getting this particular vaccine.
Apps that are connecting people not to date, just to dine. Would you sit down with a table of 5 other people for a meal and just see if you have any connection? We'll pass the water and talk about that.
And if politics and religion are off the table for discussion, what else could you possibly bring up that might not go over well? There's a new one.
Yes, and also what your triggers are saying about things you need to heal from. This one is real. Well, we think they're all really good because they are. But no, this is really good. So you're not going to want to miss a minute.
When we had cousins here for a weekend we've been looking forward to all summer, we wanted to go up and see their room. Even though they were staying in Port Stanley at an inn, we'd never been inside it. So we went up to look at their room, and what is on Kim's bed? Her envy pillow.
Yay!
She's not only an envy pillow convert, she also takes it with her now, especially after reading some of the statistics about what happens when rooms are cleaned, specifically when it comes to pillows. So not only is the envy pillow her preferred comfort, she knows where it's been. And so she takes it with her when she travels now. And I was just so tickled, not only that her husband Jeff bought it for her, but that she loves it and she's taking it with her wherever she goes. We certainly love the Envy Pillow Gals and having them here as a sponsor.
Thanks, Kathy and Kim. Learn more about their amazing CBC Dragon's Den story, the whole thing. Go to envypillow.com, ENVY pillow.com. Use the code GF for 10% off.
Let's go.
So, my favorite queenager, how are you doing this week?
I could say the same about you. I'm doing great. Everything's good. You know, trying to ignore the fact that the summer is officially coming to an end and carrying on. How about you?
Ah, good. You know, it is the end of what they call meteorological summer, right? That Labor Day is the beginning of fall, although we know that summer goes until September 22nd. So we still got like a third of it left. It's almost like glass half full, glass half empty. And today, part of what we're going to talk about is being the half full, the joy. Because joy is a word that has been coming out so often everywhere the past few weeks, and I personally love it.
Yeah, I really like this whole approach to increasing joy in your life, but I do want to put a tiny little asterisk on it, and that is only that if somebody is genuinely ill with depression or something, this isn't going to work.
No.
This is for when you're having an average sort of go of it and you want to just boost your joy. It's not a prescription for curing depression or anything, but I think it's absolutely brilliant. And it's almost like Mac Davis is in my head. Stop and smell the roses, you know?
Oh, good old Uncle Mac. No, he wasn't my uncle. Sammy was. No, he wasn't my uncle. Oh, so many Davises. So the Democrats have come under fire for being joyful. And all these talking heads on the news shows saying joy is not a strategy. Even the New York Times, which, you know, is really good for Wordle and spelling bee, but some days the opinions. I think joy is a strategy when there's been so much angst. And that goes for Canada too. I mean, aren't you tired of being angsty about everything? I looked at our gas prices the other day, down 25 cents from where they were just a few months ago. And I thought, wow, when did that happen? You know?
Yeah.
And that's something to be joyful about.
Absolutely. There's a whole mindset about when you're complaining, you're not really doing anything.
Right.
It's the same. You can flip that around and say when you're just not even noticing things that are good, well, you're not taking in that potential joy, right? So gas prices going down is huge, especially where you live on the West Coast. They're really high normally.
Yeah, they were over $2 for a little bit there, and now, you know, $1.75, which to you is still going to be exorbitant, and it is. But we celebrate the small things. And I found a story about ways to expand the joy in your life just by focusing on things like this. For example, you can expand your joy vocabulary. You know, many of us struggle to label our positive emotions beyond fine, good, or great. But if you kind of start using words like serene, elated, exhilarated, delighted, and inspired. Aren't those good words?
Can you imagine somebody coming off the elevator and saying, "How are you doing today?" And you say, "I'm exhilarated. How are you?" Give it a shot.
Sure. People in my building don't even realize that I walk the dogs at night with a nightie and a raincoat on. I mean, I'm kind of the creeper that hangs out in the dark at night, but at least I'm out there for a reason. Another idea is share your highlight reel. Like when something happened during your day or a recent trip, it can be tempting to vent, but if you broadcast, not literally like we do, what made you happiest, it can make you feel better. And you're spreading that happiness to another person. Might also strengthen a bond with someone. Look for silver linings. Of course, you know me. That's kind of my mantra.
Right.
The silver lining can help a lot. And here's another one, the last one. Forecast future wins. If looking at September, October, November sparks dread, pick an event that's coming up and think of the best possible outcome. If you're tired and want to back out of like meeting somebody for a workout or whatever, imagine smiling at that other person across the room and feeling proud. Using imagery can encourage motivation and prime you for more uplifting experiences. Give yourself permission to feel happy. I'm giving you permission to feel happy, Lisa.
Squee! It's funny because when I think back, for example, to my beloved Polish grandmother, she came over to Canada when she was very young and worked very hard, including scrubbing the floors by hand in the Royal York Hotel in Toronto.
Oh.
She used to say things like, "Don't laugh so hard, something bad will happen." And she was very superstitious about being happy. And you can't help but kind of hear all that, and it sort of is ingrained in you. And it takes a long time to shake that kind of stuff off and realize that, well, Grandma, you were kind of a downer. You know, there was nothing to base that on except, well, maybe the crops failed one year or, you know, she was widowed young and stuff like that. But she sort of made it her whole persona to just expect something terrible all the time. And it's just an awful way to be. I feel bad for her in retrospect, right? She could have found the good things.
Yeah. And it came from a hard life. Undoubtedly, it came from scrubbing floors on her hands and knees for the upper crust who stayed at the Royal York Hotel. I get that. Yeah. I totally get it. And then you look at someone like our friend Mira, and she actually lived in the work camps during World War II, was rounded up and taken off to camps. And still, the joy in her life, the things that she's been through, being widowed very young and then coming over to a brand new country where she didn't speak the language, but she took it with not just that stoicism that our foremothers were ingrained with, but also, I think, a sense of joy and appreciation. And I have to tell you a quick story.
Yeah.
When Lisa was here, she and I stood out on a lawn near our condo and watched a man and his border collie playing with a Frisbee. And you were in tears because it reminded you so much of your late beloved Leroy.
Yeah.
Well, Mira went for a walk the other day and stood and talked with the man about this dog, and her relating that story to us about this dog who was catching this plate in his teeth and he would run. And then the sweetest part, she said she wished I was there to shoot it, was the Frisbee landed near a little child, younger than 2, who went over and picked it up. Well, this dog goes over and lies down near the plate, and then the child throws it. The dog goes and gets it and brings it back to the child and just lays there and waits for the child to throw it again. Didn't take it away from him.
Yeah.
Didn't run back to dad with it. Just engaged with the child. These are the moments that bring joy that we just have to be aware of.
Yeah. I went and talked to that man too, but I was bringing him down. Because we were talking about our border collies, and he's like, "Oh, how old's yours?" It's like, "Well, he died 18 years ago, you know." But Mira has that gift of turning things into positivity. You know, I read something the other day, Erin, that the chance of any of us even having this life on this planet is 1 in 55 billion.
Wow.
Like the chance that your parents met and their parents met and all that kind of stuff, and the chance that all these eggs that didn't get fertilized, you're the one that did. I mean, it's just incredible. That alone is enough to make me go, wow, I better make the most of this because... I mean, I'm not going to invent anything, I don't think, but at least I could put a smile on my face.
Well, you're starting up an Etsy store. We're both in the midst of kind of a back-to-school mindset. Do you get this? At the beginning of September, you're in this, okay, we got to start projects. We got to get this going. It's time to get it off the ground. It's like we all come out of this sort of the opposite of summer hibernation, unless you're in the southern hemisphere, and something has to begin. I get that feeling, and I love that feeling. And as a workaholic, somebody stop me. I'm doing that too. It's a little overwhelming because I don't have a grasp on all of the platforms that I have to mount things on and how to do them and how to get it right and when to do it and how often and stuff. So there are a lot of challenges, but in everyone's life, this is a chance for a new year to begin after Labor Day. I wonder if other people feel like that besides retired teachers and folks who really are getting back to the grind and the phone calls that will start coming in and all that starting after Labor Day. I feel it.
I don't think it ever goes away. When Derek hears the first back to school ad, there's a cry of anguish.
Yep.
Because it's like everybody's trying, you know, mom will say, okay, we've got to go get you some pencils and binders and all that. Of course, it's not like that as much now. There's just that dread of, oh, no, they're calling an end to our free time now. We were so lucky to get free time. Again, turning it into a positive.
Right. Exactly. And that's the whole thing, turning this into joy, not the end of summer, even if it is just meteorological summer. It's the beginning of new things. Something else that's coming along, Lisa, is the reminder that this fall there will likely be a new COVID shot, time to get your flu shot, time to take 2 shots. Remember when that was a fun thing?
Yeah, right.
When it used to be tequila. Yeah. And another reason to think about getting something that a lot of people are kind of on the fence about because it gives you a pain hangover for about a week is the shingles vaccine. Have you had this one? 2, actually?
No, I haven't, and it's got nothing to do with roofing, right? No, I haven't. No, but I know that shingles, from knowing people who have gotten shingles, is way worse than any vaccine will ever be. So it's probably a good idea to get it. Maybe I should.
Yeah, Rob and I got ours earlier this year, and you have to get them a few weeks apart. And yeah, the 1-2 punch is real. But if you do any research into how bad shingles is, you do know it is bad. But here's another reason why you really must consider getting one, because research is adding to growing recognition that infectious agents may play a role in the development of some types of dementia. So if you get the shingles vaccine, according to research that has been done by all kinds of different groups and bodies and not just big pharma, people who got the vaccine were 20% less likely to be diagnosed with dementia in the 5 years following vaccination compared with a control group who received a vaccine for a different illness. So just tuck that away and keep it in mind. It's really important.
Yeah, that could tip the scales if you're trying to decide whether or not to get it, because, of course, dementia is something we all want to avoid. Wow.
There's a lot of things that help stave off dementia, and we've talked about them over these low 88 episodes, like wearing hearing aids, right?
Yes, if you need them, absolutely, yeah.
Even if you don't, all the cool kids are doing it.
Use the code GF. No, I'm just kidding. There's no code for hearing aids.
Yes, that's GF. No, there's no code for hearing aids. But there could be. I mean, you see all these people who wear glasses just to be stylish or maybe to hide some of the bags under our eyes. You and I wear them because we don't have a choice.
Right.
Oh, and I'll get back to that other thing that'll stave off dementia. But here's what I wanted to ask you. How are the readers that you and I bought together when you were here? How are they going? Because we went out. This is, I don't know if it's a sign you're in your 60s, but instead of going and trying on clothes or going shoe shopping, we went readers shopping. How fun was that?
Well, the backstory to that is that my husband, it's not criticism. He's trying to help me. He says, Erin looked spectacular on your Facebook Live, and you looked a little reserved. And he said you could stand to get a little more personality. So we were looking for personality glasses for me. Mm-hmm. And they're great. I love them. And they do look really good on camera compared to the ones that just sort of fade into my face. How are yours?
Well, right now I am going through a little bit of vision hell because I got a new glasses prescription. So I took in, you know me, I've got a lot of pairs of glasses, and I kind of had to do the Sophie's choice and pick which frames are my favorites, leave them with the eye guy and say, okay, these are the ones I need new lenses in. So I'm using older glasses right now that weren't in the rotation, and I'm switching them out all the time with readers and with my progressives and this and that. And it's a pain. You don't really appreciate how good the proper prescription is until you're missing it.
Well, a guy I know not long ago said, you're a douche if you wear your sunglasses inside. Well, I have prescription sunglasses for faraway vision. Then I have sunglasses that I can read close-up text with. Mm-hmm. And then I have my regular glasses. So depending on what I have with me, I have to switch out. And sometimes I just leave the sunglasses on because they've got the prescription in them. And I don't want to just keep switching them and having them in my hands. And somebody will say, well, why don't you get trifocals or whatever? Well, I've tried that and it didn't work for me. So it really is a pain in the neck when your eyes start to go.
Yeah, I think the saying was there are two kinds of people who wear sunglasses inside, blind people and a-holes. Yeah, but you're neither. So there.
That's right.
But aren't we joyful we have our eyesight?
That's right.
Okay, so one of the other things that will stave off dementia, in addition to hearing aids and probably wearing the right glasses, is being social.
Right.
And, of course, because of so many people working remotely, younger people are feeling lonely now, too. So we came across an app. We've heard of It's Just Coffee dating scene and that sort of thing where people just sit down, they meet in a coffee shop, they have a coffee, and if there's a connection, maybe they see each other again, right? Mm-hmm. But there are different apps now. Like there's one called Time Left. It arranges Wednesday dinners for 6-person groups in 170 cities across 37 countries so that everybody just gets together for dinner, like separate checks, I'm sure, which the servers probably hate. And then you see if you connect with somebody at the dining table and you don't have the pressure of hosting it like some social groups do. They move from house to house or anything like that. I love that idea.
Okay, so you're meeting at a restaurant?
Yep.
That's kind of cool. It's like there's no pressure. It's not like the one-to-one pressure. That's kind of neat if you need to find people. You know, I'm hearing about all sorts of things we talked one other time about coffee meetups and book clubs where you actually just read together.
Right.
There's a woman I know in voiceover like I am who Zooms with a friend and they don't talk. They just do work, but they keep each other accountable. Some really smart people predicted that we were going to get get isolated and lonely. And I think they are right.
There's also an app called The Breakfast.
Yeah.
And for a fee, it pairs strangers seeking deep conversation for morning meals in 17 cities worldwide. Well, that is so not me, because you've seen my coffee mug that says, just shh.
Yeah. So breakfast isn't your thing, but dinner maybe. Yeah. I think that's pretty cool. It's almost sad that we've gotten to this point, but people are putting effort into doing something about it.
Well, I think it's a wonderful idea. I really do. The only time anybody's talking to me over breakfast is if I'm being paid and it's a radio show. The end.
Okay, so you're meeting your new stranger/friends for a meal, and what should you not ask someone at one of those get-togethers?
Well, you know, a lot of people talk about jobs, right? That would probably be one of the first things that comes up. What do you do?
And what if it's what I used to do or what I've been doing for 42 years? Is it polite to ask somebody when they're going to retire? We're hearing this all the time now. So when are you going to give that up? I don't know.
Is that you doing the I don't know?
Yeah, it makes you feel like I don't know. You're really old, like nobody wants to feel older than they are.
Well, it's true. And there are people who are really taking offense to this question. Of course, it's the 21st century. People will take offense at a stop sign. But I came across this too. We're on the same page again. Somebody on Threads who said one of her pet peeves is people who ask others of a certain age, I guess that's us, who are not at full retirement age, yeah, that's us, when they're retiring. And she goes on, excuse me? I put this on the same level as people asking married couples when they're going to have children. Again, excuse me? So, I don't know.
I don't know either, because it just seems like a logical question when it's from a peer. And frankly, I've only ever been asked by somebody close to my age group. The young folks think we're anywhere from 89 to 106, so they wouldn't know whether we're retired or not, right?
They think we're molding already in the grave.
We're taking up space.
Yeah.
We were with a bunch of cousins, and the talk naturally turned to that because we're all around the same age. One is retired, one's semi-retired, one's this, one's that. And I was asked that specific question, but coming from somebody I knew and somebody in the same age range, that didn't bother me at all. I don't equate it to the kid thing. The child thing bugged the hell out of me because, number one, it's nobody's business, J.D. Vance, and number two, it's a complicated answer. So I refuse to answer that one. What do you think?
I want to know what your answer is. When are you going to retire? When am I going to come into the studio here and try and connect with you on our computers and just get Cuddles looking at me on the camera?
Derek and I both have the same answer, and that is we don't see retirement as a thing because, for one thing, it's not the gold watch you've done 42 years or whatever. This is something we can just keep doing as long as our voices hold up. So we don't really plan to retire. Same thing with writing. We love doing it.
Yes.
So that's our answer. Anyway, that's how we do it. Does anyone ask you that?
No. If anything, it's the opposite. Like,
right.
Geez, how much more are you going to take on? And with this new project that I mentioned in my journal Monday, which you have been so encouraging on, it's called Not a Morning Person, and their little brief grief videos is how to sum it up in the elevator pitch. It's 2 minutes long. Not sponsored, not making money. I did think maybe I would get Envy Pillow and say, Envy Pillow, rest in peace. But no, I thought that would be in terrible taste.
I agree.
Yeah, I know. I can't believe I said that out loud because Rob just laughed and went, wow, you are so dark. And I am.
Yep.
It's how we survive.
Exactly.
Yeah. So there is no retirement. There's only rewirement. And I will always say that because you're not pulling the car over. You're just pulling off and getting on a different road. And I'll tell you, the view is better. The traffic is lighter. and I drive when I want to.
Yeah.
And I think that that's possibly the best life there is. So maybe there's a bit of envy in that question. I don't mean from your cousins.
No.
But there could be some envy in there.
I agree, because if you're working in a factory or something, working at the Amazon plant or wherever you're working, and you've been doing it for however many years, and it's a job, it's a different thing. Mm-hmm. We're so lucky. You and I burst with gratitude all the time. We're always talking about it. But at the same time, sometimes I look back at some of the kids I went to high school with that got into boring factory jobs thinking, I'm going to have fun, I'm going to do all this. They're done with their pensions.
Yes.
And so, I mean, there's pros and cons to everything, but it depends on the person's mindset who's being asked, because it doesn't bother me at all.
Sometimes when we get a question or a compliment or feedback, how we take it is not how the question was asked. We've often said we can't be responsible for what you hear, only for what we say. Mm-hmm. And I found something that makes so much sense from a Dr. Elizabeth Fedrick. And I've shared this with you. I've shared this with another friend, and it's like, oh, this is good.
Yeah.
Because there are triggers that we have that a lot of us don't even recognize. So here we go.
I take feedback easily. That doesn't bother me, but there was a time when it did. And it always felt like criticism. So what this doctor has done is really cool. If you get triggered by something, she has drawn a parallel to what the trauma from your past likely is. So when feedback feels like criticism, you probably...
Guilty.
Yeah, and so you probably had a critical or disapproving caregiver. Now, does that ring true?
Yep, absolutely. Wow. And, Rob will say something to me and I will immediately feel like, oh, I'm an idiot. Why did I do it that way? Or whatever, but it's not him, and I know it comes from a place of love with him.
Feedback to me doesn't feel that way, but I know it does to you. And I try and be super gentle about it. And only when I really feel like I pick my battles. It's not a battle, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. And once you know someone's heart, you know what it is. You know that it's feedback. It's not criticism. It's not somebody being nasty. Okay, if you get triggered by worrying someone is upset at you, oh, guilty again.
Again, harsh, punitive caregiver. Oh, my goodness. It's kind of the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah, feeling like you're a burden. Don't you feel like that sometimes? Because I always do, and you never are.
I do feel like a burden sometimes, especially because going into a bit of a Meg Ryan ordering in the diner type of thing.
Yeah.
So again, the trauma was your needs were ignored or shamed. The one that really, really got to me was feeling dismissed or invalidated. And Dr. Fedrick says you were not allowed to have or show emotion. And that was absolutely true in my case growing up. Feeling dismissed or invalidated. If somebody stops listening to what I'm saying, I may as well have been punched in the gut.
Wow.
So, yeah, I totally get that.
And that goes back to what you were saying as we began about joy. You came from a line of people, like, for example, your grandmother, who said, basically, suck it up. It can always be worse, right?
Yeah.
You're not allowed to have or show emotion. And if I can go back to the feeling like you're a burden, that comes from your needs were ignored or shamed. Oh, isn't shame just the worst word? And Brene Brown has brilliant observations on shame if you're ever triggered by shame. Also loud noises, sensory overwhelm. I can't tell you how often Lisa's been in the car with me, and when you flick up that visor, the sun visor, I nearly jump out of my skin.
Yeah.
It means that you may still need to heal from chaotic environments. And wasn't that a radio morning studio going 4 hours straight of, okay, what's next? We got to do this. We got to do that. That's changing. This is happening. It's all live.
Yeah.
I'm still healing from chaotic environments.
Right. And in the corner, somebody's editing something and they've got the sound up because commercials are on and on and on and on. It just, I totally get that. Yeah. Another one that Derek has pointed out to me is being told what to do. And he doesn't tell me what to do, but we don't work together very well on things sometimes when we're following a manual or something. And he gets frustrated with me because he's like, well, we'll do this. And I'll go, well, I'm not, it just doesn't go well. So the trauma there is being controlled and not allowed to have a voice. And that's funny because that's something that came up in therapy. Didn't have a voice. And what kind of line of work do I get into? Is talking, yeah.
Yeah. We have this whole beautifully laid out little chart, and we will put it at our Gracefully and Frankly Facebook page. It's called Our Triggers Reflect Our Pain by Dr. Elizabeth Fedrick. And boy, it packs a punch and really helps us to know and see ourselves and maybe live with joy.
Yeah. Yay.
I can't think of a better note on which to end except to wish our friend Mira, and I told her this the other day, I said, you are my celebrity. I mention you everywhere. I never say just our friend Mira. I say our, as of this Sunday, 99-year-old friend Mira. So,
wow.
Yeah, in a world of Debbie Downers, be a Mira.
For sure.
She is our miracle, and we just love her so much. She says how lucky she is to have us in her life as she prepares to have her final days. And we say, are you kidding? You are the gift to us. And she's the gift that keeps giving and will forever and ever. So hope you have a Mira in your life.
I wish she'd make it to 100. I hope she does, but that's up to fate.
No, she doesn't want to. She wants to be done.
Yeah.
She just wants to go to sleep and not wake up. And she leaves her apartment in meticulous condition every single night in case that happens.
Oh, my goodness.
Isn't that sweet? Nobody wants to look like a scene from Dateline. That always happens. The place is incomplete. And I'm glad, I'm glad. If that was me, I'd be glad to be dead if someone was coming in and seeing all my clothes on the floor. Thank you very much.
Oh, my goodness. Anyway.
Yeah, I said I was dark.
Thanks to Envy Pillow and Sierra Sil for sponsoring Gracefully and Frankly. You watch too much Dateline, my dear.
Do I? Is there such a thing? Come on. We'll talk to you again next week. Bye.
Bye.